Okay, so we just hit 150. Let's respec it. Wait, is there a point for me to respec? Let me check. There's life here and damage here. So this is 1 point plus 15 points in resistance, 16 points, and I can get the damage node here. When you drop below 15% life while party members are within 5 yards, you will gain first aid. 15% of your max life per second for 3 seconds. So that's a total of 45% you gain here. But there's no immunity to it, so I mean it's not good in PvP. It's not as good as like cheat death in PvP, right? Each enemy player killed within 15 yards by one of your party members increases your damage by 3% for 10 seconds. Stacking up to 4 times. So you can stack it up to 12% more damage if you kill 4 enemies, or 24% if you kill 8 enemies. I mean, that's really hard to do. How are you gonna kill an entire group of enemies there for 3% more damage each time? I don't know about that. I still feel like Gladiator cheat death is more important here. Your death grants 15% additional damage reduction to all party members. Why are they trolling us? Why is Blizzard trolling us with this on death shit, man? First we get like a here to our party members on death, and now we get extra damage if I die. So you're just basically like, what are we supposed to do, Blizzard? Are we supposed to make a build where like we stack healing on death and this also sacrifice, and then just go and suicide and be like, sacrifice, here you go, party. This is all I can do for you is give you these buffs. It's got a 1 minute cooldown. What the fudge is this even? Okay, well, okay. Let's see. Mastermind at least is this is also group stuff, right? All party members within 5 yards of you gain 3% increased skill damage, while your party has members from 4 different classes. You only need one person. Okay, you only need one person to actually activate this. This is interesting because it specifically says this effect is not cumulative from multiple sources. So you only need one person to give this to everyone. This one is 3% additional damage reduction. Okay. Damage node here is 5, 6. This 15 armor penetration is 21, 22, and you can get the damage 20 nodes here. Increases your crit chance by 2.5% for each different class present in your party. Oh wow, so this is 7.5% crit, which is pretty big. 7.5% crit is nothing to scoff at here. This already makes Mastermind better for dungeons and raids. Yeah, so Mastermind's already here is better for PvE, for dungeons and raids, and even outer world farming, I would say. I mean, well, it's hard because outer world farming benefits a lot from the constant kills that you do, so the extra attack speed and damage here is pretty big. While your party has members from 4 different classes, your attacks have a 5% chance to make bosses vulnerable for 3 seconds. Damage taken by vulnerable targets is increased by 20%. That's really big. That's really big. When it says attacks, it usually means in this game, it just usually means any kind of hit that you do. And if you're playing something that has multiple hits that rapidly hit, getting this 5% chance to proc is pretty easy. So I don't know if there's a cooldown on this. I don't know if there's an internal cooldown on this, but basically if this activates for 3 seconds every time at 5% chance, you could have a pretty high uptime on this if there's no internal cooldown of this extra 20% extra damage. It doesn't say anything about stacking it either, but I would assume that you can only stack one debuff of the same kind here. Yeah, that's pretty big. Radius of corner assault and mutual defense increased to 10 yards. Okay, that's pretty nice for the buffs. So definitely feels like this is the way to go for like dungeons and raids. For outer world farming, you have to compare the 7.5% crit chance and this 3% extra damage and well, I don't care about damage reduction really for outer world farming. So 3% increased skill damage and 7.5% crit chance compared to Vanquisher's 5% attack speed and 5% damage here. Oh my god, I think Mastermind is just way better, even for outer world farming. I would say for outer world farming, and because this is so good for dungeons and raids, that I would prioritize Mastermind here over Vanquisher now. So the damage node here is worth it. So going all the way, even the life I would say is fine. Like I'm a PvPer, so I like the life. So I think grabbing, I won't grab the willpower most likely. I would just go down here and then here and here. You need 4 different classes though. True, yeah, yeah. And you know, for outer world farming and for, you know, I'm not gonna like, here's the problem that Blizzard doesn't realize is Blizzard's trying to incentivize us to play with different classes instead of creating a meta where we just stack like all of the best damage dealers and supports into one group, right? Like they don't want to, they it feels like they're trying to steer us away from a potential issue here where we have like 3 DHs and a satyr in one group, right? But on the flip side of this, this also causes a problem on the other end here, where we basically are trying to find people that are not of the same class. And now we're being incentivized to not invite someone because we already have that class in our group. It goes both ways here. I don't know if I just don't agree with this kind of forced group composition that's being done here. And I mean, forced, I use the term forced maybe a little lightly here. It's not really forced, but it's incentivized. And whenever it's incentivized, if you're a tryhard, it's basically mean it's forced, because a lot of people are tryhards and are basically going to be like, I already have a DH in our group. You can't come because I want this buff, right? Because tryhards will optimize every little bit of extra damage and efficiency just to get their dungeon done in 10 seconds quicker. Right? There's people like this. There's people like that have their spreadsheets up and are like, I want to get this dungeon done 10 seconds quicker so my XP per hour is so and so or whatever, right? So it's gonna happen, and I just don't agree with this kind of these incentives for party compositions either way on either side here. I don't agree with it. But okay, so if we do need 4 different classes, and that already makes this very annoying. We need 4 different classes to get this 20% extra damage on a boss. That's pretty big. That's pretty big. This one isn't so bad because this one's a little more like, so this one's like all or nothing, right? Either you get the 20% vulnerable debuff or you don't, if you have 4 different classes. This one's a little better because this one is like, if I have like 3 different classes, I'm still getting 5% extra crit chance instead of the 7.5% crit chance, and that's not too bad. Like, you know, maybe that one people are more lax about, but it's this one that's really going to be a pain in the ass, I think, for group compositions, for people grouping. It is pretty unfortunate. I don't agree with this kind of mentality here, this kind of build, these kind of bonuses. So with that in mind, because like, especially like, let's consider outer world farming. I'm not going to look at someone's class when I invite someone to a group for outer world farming. I'm just not going to look. I'm not going to look at all. I'm not going to consider that. If I get 5% crit, if I get 7.5% crit, if I get 2.5% crit, I'm not going to consider that, right? And this one's an all or nothing one too. This one is another all or nothing, right? The 3% here. So with that in mind, do we still go Mastermind? Well, for this one, at least for raids and for BGs, we have a little bit more flexibility here. We're not going to use this in BGs. What I'm talking about, we're still going to use Gladiator. But for raids, we have a little more flexibility because we have 8 members in the raid. We have eight people in the raid, so we can kind of like, I can try to pick the 3 classes that aren't the same, right? So I'm a wizard. I'm going to try to pick 3 other classes that aren't a wizard or aren't the same to each other. I can kind of manipulate that a little bit. The other party might get, you know, the other party might have a harder time. You know, they're not going to be able to decide whether or not they have 4 different classes or not. But maybe we can make one party with 4 different classes, right? In a raid. The thing is here, though, the other thing to consider here, though, is usually whenever we're considering Paragon, at least sub 150. Really, I was just considering getting Gladiator. Sub 150 is just getting Gladiator, going to cheat death, getting the damage here, and then going into Vanquisher, getting more damage, and just basically prioritizing these damage nodes here because they're easy to get, as well as the treasure hunter damage nodes. So usually that's the goal. Sub 150, Paragon 150. Before you get to Paragon 150, that's what you do. And then once you get to those nodes, you can start, you can decide if you want to go rapid recovery for more, PvP, for more battleground efficiency there, or you can start pumping points into armor penetration, right? And that was the goal. The goal was to get as much damage as possible, passive damage nodes as possible. And then basically, because the passive damage nodes are always active. So I had a 1400 damage here, 4000 life. These are always active. And then I would activate Gladiator Tree for the cheat death when I'm in BGs. And then if I'm doing other PvE farming, I activate Vanquisher for the for the Z on the RAF, right? Now, if we go, if we do want to do Mastermind, are we going to lose out on damage because of it? Because we get 20 damage nodes here, but it does take some investment to get to. So 20 damage nodes there compared to 30 damage nodes here. I guess we could still get that pretty easily, right? And 15 damage nodes. I think we can still do all that. So maybe we still do all this. So if I take out the 11 points of armor penetration, and I just start Mastermind instead, I can start to get armor penetration here instead, right? At the cost of 6 prerequisites, 6 points of prerequisites, start the armor penetration, and then I just had to do 1 more point here and start damage. So eventually, I think as we gain Paragon points here, we could start building Mastermind. But at the same time, we just keep the damage in Vanquisher and Treasure Hunter. I think that might be the way to go here. I think that, honestly, a lot of these bonuses are not my priority. A lot of these active nodes are not as much of a priority to me as just getting more damage, more passive damage. You'll see here that I'm at Paragon 150, Rezo 1150, and I have 5510 damage right now. So this is pretty good, and I haven't even gotten all my H4 pieces yet for more damage. I'm still lacking on, I just hit 150, I didn't have very much. I just put on 2 rings, which isn't even damage, right? Which isn't even main stat, a base attribute damage. So this damage number can go higher once I start to get the higher damage, base damage items for H4. I haven't got any, none of these are H4, none of these are H4 there. So 5510 damage right now is pretty good for my resonance. And to me, that's much more valuable. The extra crit should offset that extra 5 damage nodes. Let's see. Does the extra crit say we get 5% crit? That's pretty good, yeah. I mean, that does kind of offset. So maybe the 5% crit chance, let's consider we have a party, and at the very most you have 3 different classes, and there's a duplicate in there. Then you get a 5% crit chance. Are you guys reading this as 10% total or 7.5% total? No, you're right. No, you're right. You're right. Sorry. This one is 10% total. Sorry. Yeah, you're Derek, you're definitely right. This is 10% total for each different class. Because I was reading the other ones that say, some of these say for each, some of these say all party members within range here. Why did I think that was 7.5? Why did I think that was 7.5? Because this one, each party member within 15 yards reduces the damage you take by 2.5. Is this, do you guys read this one as 7.5 total maximum, or are you reading this one as 10% maximum? Do you count as your own party member for your buff? Each party member, I guess you are a party member, so you count yourself? Question mark? Wait, can we find this out if I allocate this point here? I'm going to allocate this point, and I'm going to activate it. Do we get this buff? I don't see a buff here. I don't see a buff here. Can someone join me here? Hold on. Is there someone here that can join my party? Someone come to West March for me. Oh, okay. Thank you, man. Okay. Each ally within 15-meter radius reduce the damage you take. It doesn't give me an actual freaking number here of how much damage reduction I'm gaining. What? Is this something that's represented in my stats page? Let's see here. I'm at 13 damage defense increase. Let's walk away here. This still says 13. There's no... So this one's like... This one is just the PvP one. The one for badges and Shadow or Mortal rank. So if I'm not next to any... It doesn't look like I have a buff though, right? So I don't get a buff. I don't get a buff until I get next to Snooty here. Without anyone nearby, I don't think you get a stack, right? So it's gone, yeah. So it seems to me, even though there's no actual number on there, damage reduction number, it seems to me that this stacks does not count yourself. It does not count yourself. This one seems like it's just 7.5. So that's what the confusion is, I think. Whereas this one... So is this one going to count yourself or not? This one's worded a little differently, so maybe this one does count yourself. Maybe I should just respec and grab it just to test this. I'm gonna respec and grab it just to test this, guys, for you. So, for science, right? Don't go anywhere, Snooty. Right now, I'm at 12% crit chance. Okay. Gonna go Mastermind. Okay, I got it. I am now at 12% crit chance still. Then I come to Snooty, so that didn't increase. That didn't increase? Wait, did I activate it? Wait, my bad. I didn't activate it. Activate it. Okay. Oh, this one actually... Oh, this one actually gives you an actual number here. Oh, I don't have to be within range of this one. Oh, this one actually gives me 5% with 2 different classes in my party, including myself. This one includes myself. Pog. That is beneficial. That is great there. Look at that. 16.4? Wait a minute. Where'd that 0.4 come from? I went from 12 to 16.4? That's really awkward. What? Isn't 12 plus 5? Isn't that 17? 16.4. Let me leave party real quick. If I'm not in a party, I just lose it all. I just lose it all. So you have to actually have one person in your party here. I think there is a way to have like a party where like you're in a party by yourself. I've seen that happen before. So there might be a way to manipulate this even if you're soloing to technically have a party and maybe gain the 2.5. I'm not sure. But I don't know why 5 plus 12 here equals 16.4. That's really weird. And this one is only one more point here. So, you know, one more point for this. And even if you don't always have 4 different party members in your dungeon, then, you know, it's whatever. It's just 1 point wasted. So I'm fine with that 1 point here. So this one here increases your range for these two from 5 yards to 10 yards, which is pretty big. It doubles the range. But it's only going to apply if you do have 4 different classes. So I don't know if putting 20 points in a life is worth that. It's only worth it if you're like a PvPer and you really want that life in PvP, I would say.
Nothing can stand against.
Oh, we got 3 now. Okay, yeah, it's... Oh shit, oh shit! Oh shit, we got 4 different parties members in here. Wait a minute. Yeah. 3% damage reduction, 3 skill damage, and then the 10% crit. So what's the 12? What's the 12 plus 10 equal? The 12 plus 10 equals 20.8%. What is going on here, Blizzard? What is this math? What is this math? 12 plus 10 is 20.8? It's 10% of 88 for some reason. Oh, it's giving me a percentage of my non-crit. A percentage of my non-crit. That's so that, yeah, that seems right? So 12, I had 12, which means I had 88% non-crit. And 10% of 88% non-crit is 8.8. So 12 plus 8.8 is 20.8. You're right, Castmite. So that's definitely not the way it's supposed to work. You're getting 10% more of your non-crit. That sounds like a bug to me. That sounds, I don't know, maybe Blizzard would say working as intended. We have no idea. Wow. Okay, so that's a bug maybe to submit for Blizzard. I can submit that bug possibly and see if that's actually supposed to be fixed. Okay, so do I put the 20 points in a life for this? I don't think so. I think obviously I'm a PvP enjoyer. I'm a PvP enthusiast, so I have to get cheat death, right? So I'm gonna go for cheat death here. Okay, I got the cheat death. The damage nodes are right here, so this is very easy damage nodes. Okay. Vanquishers are also very easy damage nodes. Technically, I could have kind of like both available. I could have both. You could technically have both Vanquisher and Mastermind available if you wanted to swap between the two. Treasure Hunter is trash. No one put points into Treasure Hunter unless you're going for the damage nodes. So let's just say I'm going to put points in here for damage. And this is 1 point, right? So, I mean, if I'm going to put... Do I put 1 point in here? Just in case I do want to swap? Not really. I think we just stick with... I think the crit chance on Mastermind is better. So I don't think we even have to worry about swapping the Vanquisher for anything. I'm thinking about like auto ward farming, but I still think I would just stick to Mastermind active instead of Vanquisher active. So I'm not sure if like... I think that this would just be one wasted point that I would never use. I would never activate Vanquisher anymore. Okay. So I think we just go 25 points into damaging Gladiator. Yeah, so Gladiator damage. Okay, 20 points remaining. So I could go for a rapid recovery again because I'm a PvP enthusiast. Or there's armor penetration, or there's you go into Treasure Hunter and you start pumping damage here. So the question is for PvP, if I'm solely considering PvP here, do I value rapid recovery, which makes my uncontrollable go from 30 seconds to 20 seconds? So it's a 33% cooldown reduction on uncontrollable, and it's quite strong. Uncontrollable does prevent a loss of control on your character. So having this be a 20-second cooldown is pretty beneficial for PvP, but so is damage. You could argue that the armor here is also somewhat useful for PvP though, for survivability against crits. But I really, really like having more damage. I really like having more damage. So I think you go Treasure Hunter, this is 5, 6. This is 21 points here. I only have 1 point remaining, which I could go back and throw into here if I really wanted to. Or I could just start, I think from there you just start building. I think from there I can start going for rapid recovery. So it's just a matter of, do you want to go rapid recovery first, or do you want to go for the extra damage in Treasure Hunter first? Considering so comparing soldier damage here, it's the 16 points to get into the damage nodes here. The 15 damage nodes here. 16 points for 15 damage nodes. A Treasure Hunter is 6 points for 15 damage nodes, right? So from here, the treasure hunter makes more sense than soldier here. So soldier is pretty bad. It's just pretty bad. It's just soldier is as bad as survivor here. If you look at survivor, it takes way too many points to get into anything useful here, like damage. Obviously, I'm prioritizing damage much higher than other passive stats. There's other passive stats here that are used for like life, armor penetration, even potency, resistance. There's all these other secondary stats here, but honestly, I just prioritize damage. So 22 points, I'm going to go for treasure hunter damage. Okay. And then the one last point, you could start trying to pump in this wrath and armor penetration, or you can go for the rapid recovery. It's really your choice from here. Armor penetration is quite nice if you are relying on a lot of crit. If you're more PvE focused, obviously rapid recovery is pretty bad. If you're PvP, rapid recovery is only for PvP, right? So if you're not as focused into PvP and you want more PvE efficiency, then you can go for armor penetration here for bigger crits, right? And that synergizes the armor penetration for bigger for more crit hit damage. Synergizes quite nice with the Mastermind extra crit here, so that seems pretty useful too. Or you go life for PvP and then get super coordination here for the extra radius if you do plan on optimizing for these things here. If you do plan on being one of those tryhards that always has 4 different classes in your party. I think that's about it. I don't know honestly if I'm going to go for the armor penetration or the rapid recovery at this point from here, but I have some time to decide on that. Oh, what's my total damage, by the way, right now? So I should have way more damage for my Paragon tree, right? So I had like, so right now I have 5923 damage, dude. Yeah, I jumped up there on the damage with that allocation there, because we basically stayed the same damage and just picked up. We basically just picked up an additional 400 damage here, right? So now I have 400 more damage than I used to hitting Paragon 150. That's kind of a lot of us are trying to get into H4, trying to grind up to Paragon 150. So once you have enough combat rating, once you do hit that, what is it, 30? Is it 3250? Once you hit that, then you don't have to worry about combat rating as much anymore, and you can try to get your set pieces.